Let's talk about something today I think you guys are going to like, and that is there a crash incoming? And if there is, what could be the catalyst that causes that? A lot of people are looking at some of the data coming in from FTX, but there's a few other things that could also be playing into the markets and the prep that maybe the markets are getting ready for. So today we'll break down all that good stuff for you guys today. My name is Paul Bear. Welcome back into Tech Path. A couple of things before we get started. I want to thank our sponsor, and that is iTrust Capital. If you're looking at long-term holding and you want to go with a strategy to go into an IRA, one way you can do that is through iTrust Capital with their crypto IRA. A couple of things they do over there is you can actually invest in all sorts of digital assets, but you can also jump into things like gold and silver. So it's very easy to do, and it's free in terms of your monthly. All you have to do is sign up so you can start your project there, get into it, maybe transfer an IRA, or if you're brand new and you want to start one over there. And all you guys are paying for is the trades that you make within your own account. So it's a great way to get started. Make sure and use the link down below. It's going to help you get a $100 funding reward, and it also helps the channel out. So thanks for that. All right, let's get into a couple of topics today. And a few of them I want to jump onto a couple of tweets, and then we'll kind of flow into some news. But I got a clip here of some things at the end that you guys don't want to miss. Kobe Easy comes in, global liquidity down, massive 1 trillion over the last 10 weeks. That's a pretty big deal for that much liquidity. You know, it's interesting too, because about 4 to 5 months ago, we had a series of interviews that we had with Lynn Alden. If you guys have not seen some of our Lynn Alden videos, just go back, search our channel. And she was kind of forecasting out what might happen. And this appears to be some of the things that she has been anticipating around what liquidity might look like. But we're now back to down to pre-pandemic liquidity levels. Now you have to think about that. The amount of liquidity that flowed into the space during the pandemic versus what we have right now is pretty significant. And if you look at the chart right here, we'll show you some other stuff, but this is the dip right here. If you kind of just draw that line, this is of course talking about 19, 20, and 21 pre-pandemic. This of course is all of the injection into the economy, and then essentially almost a full recourse back down. Now, granted, this still has a lot of room for more liquidity loss on the global scale, and that will have effect on digital assets. It's going to have effect on securities and other things too. So be on the lookout for this one. I think this is one that we need to continue to chart and watch going forward, because this could be an indicator where Bitcoin does start to see. Because remember, when liquidity starts to hedge downward, usually, and we'll show a little bit about the Dixie on another show coming up, but usually the Dixie will be on the rise, which it is currently. And if you look at the Dixie over the last, say, let's go after the last 36 months, but look at the last year on the Dixie, the dollar index, and you can start to see how this gets affected around just traditional markets versus what's happening in the digital asset market. So very interesting, something to watch for sure. Some key events that we'll be hitting this week is the Apple iPhone release. I'm curious if this is going to have a big splash because of the pressure that we're seeing on inflation, which means that will people have the money to be able to go out and purchase a new iPhone? And I think that's going to be a big indicator when we start to see the sales coming in for the holidays and whether or not Apple is doing well. So be on the caution and be on the lookout for that. Additionally, we'll see the CPI inflation data, most likely going to be down. That comes in on Wednesday. PPI also comes in this week on Thursday. Retail sales data on Thursday will be softer, anticipated. Consumer sentiment data on Friday. Consumer sentiment is right now looking to see maybe one of its biggest dips all year. This is a problem because it will have, I believe, some impact on how the Fed responds with whether or not they're going to be able to hold a flat position in terms of interest rates and the Fed fund rate coming up in November. So we'll see how that goes out. Also, the New York Fed manufacturing data comes in on Friday. So this is a big one. So it's the huge last week before the September Fed meeting. And when you look at what's going to happen over the next, say, 30 to 60 days, I think a lot is really dependent on these numbers this week and how that might play out for you guys in your markets. If you just look at the charts, there's a couple of things. Everybody's saying, why is crypto down so much today? And you can kind of see right here, listen, everything is in the red. Right now, Quantify Crypto shows all top 50 projects with negative performance on the day, as a total cryptocurrency market cap lost $10 billion in today's daily candle. So it's a big hit 2% in the last 24 hours, fairly significant. Many people are looking at this potential of the FTX dump on the horizon. There's things that, yes, of course, FTX is still a burr in the saddle of the crypto markets, but I don't think it is as big of a problem as maybe a lot of people are indicating. I'll show you some data on this. But if FTX gets the approval for the sell-off, that's the big if, the details will settle on the size and the frequency of liquidations in order to minimize possible negative effects on the market. Now, they hold a lot of assets. We do know that. And remember, the market is already had a tremendous push down. So we're not seeing a $2.5 trillion market here. We're barely seeing a $1 trillion market. So these kinds of things could implement very easily and cause a little problem within the market. But I don't know, the question mark will be how much can go into the markets and whether or not that's going to have an impact on Bitcoin. I'd love to get you guys' feedback. Do you feel like FTX is going to have any kind of scenario? Or are we going to continue to see just a slight downward trend as we've been tracking over the last 10 to 14 days? Or do you think we'll start to see a real hit on the markets? Love to get your comments. Drop those down below. A couple of things to be aware of, and I think everybody's kind of fudding a little bit, is on the amount of Solana. If you look at respective amounts going from 29 million in XRP to 685 million in Solana, there's the line list of some of the tokens that could be at risk to a certain extent, but in reality, these aren't too bad in terms of if they get the go to actually release some of these tokens to be able to compensate the creditors that are in line. So a couple tweets here. I'm going to just go up here to this one right here. Will they sell off this week, cause a Solana soul crash? This was the tweet that hit on it. Mainly what they're talking about is the potential of this 200 million a week of assets that would be the limit that could kind of roll into this. And I've got a couple of charts here from Wu Blockchain. Let me kind of go up here. So this is as of August 31st. And the total of 3.4 billion in crypto assets, including 1.16 billion in Sol, 560 million in Bitcoin. And then you can kind of see the line list there. But these are the asset holdings overall, Solana taking the largest, and then Bitcoin coming in right behind it. And of course, everybody's also looked at Solana and the fact that they've been able to hold on. Remember that Solana was one of the blockchains that took the hardest hit from the FTX crash that happened last December. We saw Solana go down to basically about $8.50 and then has corrected since then. And that's been an opportunity for some people because many people went in on Solana at its low around $8 to $9, and they're sitting obviously in a great position right now. Filing shows also that there's 438 investment portfolios with approximately 4.5 billion in invested assets. These are the companies that are all, of course, being hurt. You can kind of see the token layer right there. Limited partnerships involved, the equity investments involved. Obviously, we know Genesis and their connection, Yuga Labs, playing a role in this, among many others. So this is not just crypto related. We'll potentially see a little bit of a market wave being hit here as we see more and more people taking losses on their books. As of August 24th, about 36,000 customer claims had been filed for a total of 16 billion. These are all everything from creditors, etc. You see the 4.1 billion in litigation for Genesis. Even Celsius is setting in there right now. And then the IRS, of course, has the largest position right now at 43.5 billion for claims against this and what's happening with FTX. So all is not well yet. And I think this is, again, one of those things that could be one of those last little pushes into the markets as we continue to see the macro pressure pull the markets down. I just don't think it will be a sharp loss now and decrease in the market overall, especially on digital assets. Now, there could be a handful of tokens. Yes, Solana could take a fairly significant drop down to around 15. It's trading at around 17 right now. So that would be the one to watch for sure. Here's Lark Davis kind of hitting on it. He points out a couple of good notes here. First, coins are not going to be, will not be on the market to be sold. Mostly will go over counter. And Solana is mostly locked up, and most of their tokens are locked up for around 4 years. So that in itself would slow this down. When this is sold over the counter, it'll be someone buying FTX's vesting contract. So that is a factor that plays in it. FTT, I don't think anybody's going to be playing and too worried about that one. Because remember, this was what I feel like set everything in motion, was when CZ actually sold and started to move a large amount of FTT, which started the domino effect to occur and caused, obviously, I won't say caused, but it definitely had a big potential impact on what happened over at FTX. Bitcoin and ETH, they've got a good amount, but not billions. I still don't think we're going to see any real impact on both Bitcoin and Ethereum. I think we're going to see more market and macro pressure on Bitcoin and Ethereum, and I think we're seeing it right now. Obviously, we've seen a little bit of a downtrend on both of those. Aptos, this is the only one that maybe you have to worry about because of its size, and then everything else, no amount's big enough to concern. So I think this is, again, still just a bit of FUD. But the real question is how and what will be pushing this down? And you have to remember, and this is just some Solana stuff, I think people thinking that there's a big deal with Solana. 2 years of aggressive selling, I would agree, and the number of black swans we've seen in this market, I'm still very impressed. And I just had a big, one of our executive coaching sessions this weekend. And that was one of the things that many of the people brought. And these are business owners, millionaires in many cases, very successful. And even they brought to the point is that Bitcoin doesn't seem to have as much of an impact on it as it has in the past years as they've analyzed. And I would agree. I think the resiliency now is quite a bit different. Here was Tolle coming in. If everyone else is throwing shade, then we're just going to build and code in the shade. So, of course, that's the current leader of Solana. And Solana's been building and doing a lot in the way of doing partnerships. Obviously, we saw the deal with Visa and many other things happening out there in the market for sure. Leaders are now monitoring risk in crypto asset ecosystem. The fact that it's even being discussed at a G20, you can take it two ways. You can take it as they're talking about it. That means at least it's getting into a legitimate layer, or they're talking about it and it means they might be doing something negative. I think that we're in the more legitimacy layer from the G20. There's a few things there that we can hit on, but I want to also give you guys a heads up. We'll be doing a video later about this because there is a lot happening within the G20 that I think have bigger impact on the planet, especially around investing, what some of the countries will be doing, because there's a lot of positioning around stablecoins right now. And I think even here in the US, we're going to see that as well. But the FASB thing was endorsed dramatically. So we endorsed the Financial Stabilities Board high-level recommendations for the new regulation and supervision of crypto asset activities. So that's a big scenario. We talked about FASB last week. Also, following the declaration, the finance ministers at the central bank governors of the G20 nations committed to discussing and taking forward a roadmap during the next meeting in October of 2023. That's just around the corner. So they are looking at other potential impacts of maybe how digital assets play a role in a lot of these G20 nations. They also demanded that responsibility bodies ensure implementation method is consistent across global to avoid regulatory arbitrage. More things that I think will also play into how these countries are going to be dealing with digital assets. We've already seen MiCA move pretty heavily in this way and position, I think, the EU into a very strong position of being able to do some interesting things in blockchain over the next few years. One other thing here, crypto analyst is predicting a fake pump before Bitcoin, before we see a big dump. Again, we still have a lot of people pushing into the point that we could see a 15K Bitcoin or under. That is the real question mark, because right now Bitcoin has been holding fairly decently. A couple of points they hit on right here is Bitcoin could be ready for a short squeeze, and this is in reference to around the $27,000 price zone in the following days. This is going to be a very critical time right now. Remember, we got a lot of things hitting this week that will show the course of the United States when it comes to not only inflation, but a potential recovery. And I think that's the more important thing. The other thing that they focus on was Bitcoin market makers are getting ready for a fake pump around to 26.9 before a further dump into liquidate long positions around $24,000 price zone. That's one that I think will be interesting because this right here is the potential forecast of where we could see Bitcoin going. If you look at our sentiment data on the CPI, which is our own crypto power index, I can't necessarily not agree with this because there is a continued downtrend, a pressure on both amplification sentiment and top-line sentiment on both Bitcoin and Ethereum. So does it mean that we would see a sub 20K? I don't know yet. But what I am seeing is a very consistent downtrend on overall sentiment in the market. And I think when you add in the other macro pressures, those are the things you have to watch for. I don't think it's as much as the FTX issue as it is the macro pressure. Fun fact, less than 5% of global population now is invested in crypto. That just shows you again how early you are. Maybe you're watching this for the first time and you're just now getting into crypto, or maybe you're just now getting into Bitcoin and Ethereum. You're starting to do your research. What I would ask for you guys to do is just subscribe to the channel. It is one of the easiest ways that you're going to get additional content. You can drop that, hit that little bell, and it will give you notifications when we do things like that, our live streams. Last up here that I think is interesting is a clip that I want to play for you. And this comes from David Marcus. And David Marcus runs a company called Lightspark, excuse me. It's not Lightspeed Ventures, but Lightspark. And Lightspark is trying to do some unique things in Lightning. But I want to play this clip for you. He starts off about halfway through, and this is coming from Squawk Box. Let's listen in.
We've watched the valuation of Bitcoin sort of sit around $25,000, $26,000. We've all been questioning, so where does this go? And does Bitcoin ever really become a currency, which is what you talk about it becoming? Do you think the value of Bitcoin needs to or can move up if it's actually a currency? Meaning, I've always made the argument the currency problem is if you think Bitcoin is going to $30,000 or $50,000 or $60,000, there's no way I'm going to spend it on a pizza or on anything, frankly. If I think it's going to go down, by the way, I might spend it immediately.
So our view is actually that Bitcoin is not the currency that people will use to buy things. But a fragment of a Bitcoin on top of Lightning is like a small data packet on the internet, only for value. And so you can exchange at the edges of the network and send dollars to someone that will receive Japanese yen on the other side, or send dollars to someone who will receive euros on the other side.
So we were just saying.
All right, so a couple of things that David hit on there that I think are interesting. One is he did admit that Bitcoin would not be used as a currency, and this is something that I've argued, over time, is that it is a challenge because of what's happening with Lightning right now. Now, this is not necessarily a bad thing. It's just a way that Bitcoin will be utilized, and to what Squawk Box's interviewer there, Sorkis, was trying to get to, is that why would a currency ever be a speculated asset? This is where I think the draw is. Bitcoin is still a speculated asset, and it reacts like one. It has volatility. It has, the issues with everything that we've talked about in today's show in terms of liquidity, and it also has pressures from macro. That's just like any other speculated asset, whether you're investing in securities, real estate, anything that you would speculate on. So I think that Marcus, what he's trying to do with Lightspark is they're trying to get to that point where they can get a settlement layer into it. And that's where I think the real question mark is. So whether you haven't, maybe this is the first time you've heard of the Lightning Network, I would suggest that you guys go out, do a little research, really understand it, and try to get your head around what its purpose is and how it could be used in the future. At the same time, be looking at the Ethereum network. Also take a look at Solana. You want to look at these payment architectures that are being built on blockchain, because these are the ones that are going to most likely be the ones that go forward. So love to get your feedback on whether or not you guys think FTX is going to, these potentials here are even going to have a remote chance of causing any movement down, or do you feel like it's going to be more of the macro? Drop some comments down below. Of course, if you're not in our Diamond Circle, make sure and get in right now. It's one of the best places you get additional alpha from us. We do a podcast over there. I drop additional analysis in there only to the Diamond Circle. And of course, the only way you get in is join that link right down below. It's very easy. If you guys want to catch me out there on X, @PaulBaron. We'll catch you next time right here on TechPath.